Why you should apply for positions even if you don't meet all of the job requirements. I already know, friend, you see job postings and you're like, ooh, this looks like a really, really cool position, but you realize that you don't meet all of the requirements. They've got 7 bullet points and you only meet 3, so you're like, nope, not gonna apply for it. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why you absolutely should still apply for these positions. There's a lot of reasons why companies are still interested in you, even if you don't meet and check off every single box on their list of nice to haves, must haves, wanna haves in those job postings. Let's get into that. Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty and the details, let me tell you who I am. My name's Libria Jones, also known as the Remote Work Queen, and I help people by sharing resources and content that helps them find and land remote jobs. I actually have a free guide called My Ultimate Guide to Remote Work that gives you all kinds of information about multiple ways that you can work remotely. There's a link to that in the description box. I also have a course called the Remote Ready Bundle that takes you through the 4 phases of finding and landing remote work. There's a lot of great information and really cool tips in that course. Link is also in the description box. Also, I have a community. I have a private coaching community called the Quick Commuting Academy that I meet with on a weekly basis. On Tuesdays, we have master classes on topics that can get them closer to the life that they want. We also have weekly live Q&As on Wednesdays, and we bring recruiters into the community to talk to us about the positions that they're hiring for, what their hiring process is, and all of that. A link to that is in the description box as well. And the last thing I'll say is I share a lot of information and education and inspiration on Instagram and right here on YouTube. So feel free to follow me on Instagram, but absolutely subscribe here on YouTube as well. All right? Okay, for real, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this video. So listen, I'm not Oprah, but one thing I know for sure is you won't get a job if you don't apply for a job. No one's going to come into your house and drag you out and bring you to their organization and say, hey, I feel like you want to work here, right? You're actually going to have to hit that apply button if you want to get a job, and especially if you want to get a remote job, okay? So the saving the positions, the copying, pasting the link, the emailing it to yourself is nice and well and good, but it's not actually applying, right? And I know a lot of people are hesitant to apply for positions because they don't feel like they meet all the requirements, or they're intimidated by something that was in the job posting. And this happens especially with women. Here's the truth, 2 truths for you. 1, you lose nothing by applying. You lose nothing but the 5 minutes it took you to apply. So worst case scenario, they don't respond to you and you're back in the situation that you're in already, right? Nothing has changed. And so don't be afraid, because nothing bad is going to happen to you from applying for a job, right? If you are not qualified, if they determine that you're not qualified, either you'll get a rejection letter or you won't hear from them. The second truth I'm going to throw out there is that you, my friend, are not qualified to determine if you are qualified for the position. It's not your job to figure out who's the best fit for this position. It is your job to get a job. It is the hiring manager and the recruiter's job to determine who is the best fit for the position. It's not your job to do that, right? What you want to do is figure out, could I do this job well? Would I be a good fit for this position based on my experience and my skills? And if I meet some of these requirements, then it's a possibility that I can get my foot in the door. I'm going to go through 4 reasons why companies would still want to hire you even though you may not meet all of their qualifications, okay? Reason number 1, I want you to know this. I don't know if this is a secret. I don't know if I'm outing the hiring community, but most of these job postings are templates, and a lot of them are out of date. Okay, so a lot of these job postings are templates. Sometimes it's not even written by the actual hiring manager. Sometimes it's written by the actual recruiters or HR in that department, right? It might not be exactly what the hiring manager is looking for, but HR and the hiring managers feel like they've got to beef it up and put certain things in there, or it's a template that's outdated. Okay, and keep in mind that that list is a unicorn list. If I can get everything on those lists as a hiring manager, as someone who needs to bring project managers into our organization, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Someone meets all of these things. But more often than not, people are going to be missing a few of the things on that list. So keep in mind that those job postings are really templates. And a lot of times they're not the things that the hiring manager specifically is looking for, and or sometimes those things are even out of date. Reason number 2, you might actually have skills and experience that the hiring manager didn't realize they need or would be a good fit for the position when they wrote the job description. I'm going to give you an example. Where I used to work, I hired a team of project managers, and most of the people that I hired had a software background, right? They had done project management and done software implementations. And I ran across a young lady who had applied for this position, and her history was really in communications. She had a communications degree and she worked mostly in journalism. But one of the things that I realized when talking to her and looking at her resume was that one of the biggest problems or the biggest challenges for successful projects is effective communication. And so I was willing to take a risk on her because she had a background in communication, right? And while we say please have excellent communication skills, this person had a degree in communication, right? And so a lot of times we're looking for people that fit a certain mold, but looking at someone that has skills that meet a serious problem or challenge that you're having, or would be an interesting fit into a role, is something that employers are open to, right? So you may have skills that pique their interest or that make them think, you know what, you would be a good fit for these reasons. The third reason why employers may want to hire people that don't meet all of the requirements is because it will allow them to expand their budgets, right? So let me give you an example. Let's do a little bit of math here, okay? So let's say I have a group and I need to hire some project managers, and I've got a budget of $1 million for salaries, right? I've got a budget of $1 million to hire some project managers. Now, I could hire 6 people at, say, $150,000, right? These people meet all of the requirements. They're senior project managers, and they meet all of the things in my list, right? If they meet all the things in my list, I'm going to have to pretty much pay them top dollar. In more instances than not, if you meet all of the requirements in the list, you probably exceed them, right? So let's say I'm going to pay top dollar. That $150,000 salary for all of those requirements or above and beyond those requirements is only going to get me 6 project managers at $1 million budget. But I could say, I'm going to look at people that are at different ends of the spectrum of these requirements and at different points in their journey in their career, right? And that way I can say, well, you know what? I can get 2 people at 150,000, right? At the top end, at the senior level. I can get 3 people that maybe don't meet all the requirements, but they're pretty close. I can get 3 people and pay them 100,000, right? And then I can get more entry-level new project managers that may not have 5 years of experience, that may really only have 1 to 2 years of experience. And I can pay them $70,000. That's gonna get me 5 people for that budget, right? And I can say, you know what, I've got 50,000 left over. I'm going to bring someone that's very new, very junior, never done project management. I can bring one person that does that. And so now for that same $1 million, I can bring on 11 project managers that are anywhere from entry level all the way up to senior level. So again, another reason why companies are sometimes willing to look at people and hire people that don't meet all of their requirements is because it allows them to maximize their hiring budgets, all right? So again, you're not qualified to determine if you're qualified for the position, because hiring managers are making more decisions than just do they check all the boxes. They're making multiple decisions in their hiring process. So the fourth reason why companies are willing to hire people who don't meet all of their requirements is similar to what I just mentioned, right? So one of the things they'll do is hire people along multiple points in their career. I know my company does this as well, right? So if you look at the job postings for project managers at the company I work for, we have the first bullet point is 5+ years of project management experience. And I'm going to tell you, we do hire people straight out of college. We've hired people that are new in their career for project management, have only done project management for a year. Heck, one of my colleagues that I've worked with for a while in this space moved into project management after being a production assistant on a reality TV show. And so keep in mind that people can move into careers because companies want to hire people at multiple points in their career journey, all right? And so I just mentioned that they want to maximize their budgets. The other thing to consider is that they want to maximize the amount of time you're going to be with them and the value that you're going to bring to the organization. Think about it this way. If I hire a bunch of senior people, if I hire a bunch of senior project managers who already meet and exceed all of my requirements, they're going to matriculate a lot faster, meaning they're going to move out of the role that I hired them for within the next 2 years. And they're either going to be looking to be promoted into a higher salary position, or they're going to be looking to be promoted in other positions to do other things. And or they're going to be looking for other jobs, right? It's going to be time for them to move on in their career, make changes in their career. And so if I pepper my group in my organization with people that are at multiple points of their journey, then I'm always cycling new people into different slots, right? So while my seniors that I hired are now moving on to manager roles and to other roles, now the people that were in the mid-level, I can move them on to senior, and the people that were entry level, I can move them into the mid-level role. Right? And so now I can manage the matriculation of my employees and make sure that I'm constantly bringing in new people to train and to prepare. And I'm allowing people who are more senior to be, elevated and to be promoted and move on. Additionally, if you are a senior in a role, you come with some baggage, right? So the people that have been doing this stuff for a long time, they come with baggage from previous companies. They come with bad habits from previous companies that an organization has to undo. They have to reprogram folks who've been working in this field for a long time. The great thing about bringing on entry-level people is that you get to train them. They're pretty much a clean slate. You get to train them in the ways that you do business. So companies like to bring folks on who are at entry level and early points in their careers because they can be the ones that train and bring them into how to do things their way, right? So keep in mind, again, there's a lot of reasons why companies are looking at people that are at multiple ends of the spectrum. And I will tell you, I've actually seen this happen a lot more on job postings where companies are like, even if you don't meet all of the requirements, please submit an application anyway. I've literally seen that on job postings. Companies are telling you the same thing I'm telling you. Apply anyway. You don't have to meet all of the requirements. Okay, all that to say, friend, apply for the damn job, okay? Stop disqualifying yourself from positions because you've decided that you're not a good fit for the role. The truth is you're not qualified to make that decision, right? Your job is not to determine who's the best fit for the job. Your job is to get a job, all right? If this video was helpful, please go ahead and like and share. Let people know it's out there because you're not the only one struggling with this. There are other people struggling with this. Feel free to drop a note in the comments if you got questions, if there's anything that you want to know, or even if you need a little pep talk, right, to apply for some jobs. I really, really hope that this inspired you and motivated you to start being more proactive and being more confident and hitting that apply button. I will see you in the next video.